Okay, comrade. The Russian Nightmare Nikita Koloff here. Tune in and listen to the Undisputed Wrestling Show. I tear your stinking head right off your body. Je to it.
And ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed Wrestling Show starts now. You know what? Good. We are brought to you, everyone, by the AngryMarks Podcast Network. Heroes and Legends number 5 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Again, July 25th at the Sport One, Parkview Ice House. Get your tickets now. They're going very, very quickly. You want to make sure you get your great autograph packages that they've got going on. And joining us now, ECW legend himself, Axel Rotten is in the house. Axel, how you doing, man?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on the program. It's a pleasure to be here. Just expanding on what you guys are saying, talking about Dusty Rhodes and Tommy Rogers and Buddy Landel, all guys that were friends of mine. And I happened to, run the roads with Buddy Landel up and down the highways and the byways when we were down in the Tennessee territory down in USWA. And, just such a great dude. It's a shame, what happened to him. Anyone that's ever watched me wrestle, and I'm not talking about, the hardcore stuff, obviously knows Dusty Rhodes was one of the biggest influences in my career. And getting to know Tommy Rogers when he came to ECW was one, fantastic time to learn from the guy. Myself, my whole life being pretty much a tag team wrestler up until, Ian and I feuded, and then I got back into tag team wrestling with Balls Mahoney. It was the one that hit me the hardest, though, was Dusty, because, when I got my tryout with WCW, and Nick Patrick said, "Hey, Dusty wants to see you in his office," and I like stopped in my tracks, and I was like, "Oh my God, here I am, 19 years old, and I just heard the words Dusty Rhodes wants to talk to me in his office." So it just blew me away, So it's sad that the business has lost, it happens over and over, and it's a circle of life, but it's just sad when it's guys like that were such impactful players in the world of the business. The Fantastics were one of the greatest tag teams. I put them right up there with the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express. Talk about, as far as workers go, those guys are incredible. Buddy Landel, kind of similar to myself, kind of like, his demons got in the way of his stardom, and he could have probably been 10 times bigger than he was. But no one can take away what Dusty Rhodes meant to this business, so it was a great loss all the way around.
Absolutely. And you know what? This show has been on the air for almost 2 years, and sometimes when I take a week off, I learn to regret it, because I heard the most ludicrous statement on this show in the 2-year existence of the Undisputed Wrestling Show while I was away. Happened to be the day before Dusty passed, and a comment was made by one of my co-hosts that Grado in TNA has more charisma than the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
I don't even know who you're talking about. Who is that person?
That would be Will Huckabee.
No, there's no one on the planet that had more charisma than Dusty Rhodes, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to give you a little lesson in the wrestling business. When the wrestling business was regional, when the wrestling business was, you worked every night of the week, and trust me, I did this. You worked every night of the week and twice on Saturdays. It was your job to talk the people into the seats. That's what we called it, talking people into seats, because if you didn't do it, you didn't draw a house, you didn't get paid. There was nobody, and there has yet, not even Ric Flair, not even Hulk Hogan, nobody, not even The Rock, could talk the people into an arena like Dusty Rhodes. When they used to do what we call regional promos, which meant if they were running Baltimore, they would do a specific promo for Baltimore. If they were running Philly, they'd do a specific promo for Philly. So you thought that night was the only night you were going to get the chance to see the American Dream defeat Ric Flair, and I can still remember to this day a promo that made me go buy a ticket. When I was a kid, Dusty Rhodes was talking about what was coming. He was like April 19th in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm talking to all my people from the east side, from the west side, downtown, Park Heights, all of my friends in Baltimore County. You're going to have to get your tickets, baby, because that night in April will be the only night that you're going to see the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the 3-time World Heavyweight Champion. So sweet, but I'm going to make it 4 times right there in Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where it's going to happen, Jack. And I was like, holy, I got to go get a ticket, because Dusty promised me he's going to win the title. And that's what he did, and that's the skill and charisma that he had, was to make people what in the business we call if you can put an ass every 18 inches, that's what you're meant to do. And Dusty Rhodes, without question, did that better than anybody in the history of the game.
Axel Grado is a British boot camp, I think 3rd or 4th place finisher in TNA. He's now on the main roster. He's a lovable loser from Scotland. Will Huckabee, defend yourself, because I just don't get it.
All right. Now, see, here's what I was trying to explain. I think I explained it to Zane better once we got off the air. A friend of mine introduced me to the guy. And he was a local Scottish indie wrestler who had such a remarkable entrance. He came out to Like a Virgin by Madonna. And so I watched some of his matches and stuff and watched his entrances. And one particular match he had against Colt Cabana, who is probably one of the most popular indie wrestlers in the world, was actually working with him that night. So Colt Cabana comes out, gets that huge reaction that he always gets, and then Grado came out, and legitly it was packed wall to wall. Everybody stood up, was standing on chairs, and like the entire audience started singing this kid's theme song. So I watched even more. And without dropping names and stuff, I talked to a friend of mine who works very closely with TNA and stuff, and was over there when they did their whole European run. They was doing their tour in Europe and stuff. When Grado was working, EC3, I think that's his name, and then Al Snow. And the guy said, and my friend told me, he was like, even though nobody will ever say it, there was like, that kid Grado was a huge part of why TNA had drew so much when they were in Scotland and that local area, because so many fans knew about him and wanted to see him get a shot. And the reason why I said that and I didn't mean to be disrespectful when I said that he had more charisma than Dusty, but it's just the fact that this is the same kind of kid who can talk people into the building, just from his gimmick and the way he works, and the fact that he's such a lovable loser. People are spending their hard-earned money to come see this kid finally get a win. When the show was over and I got a chance to talk with Zane one-to-one, I was like, it's almost like Mikey Whipwreck times 1,000, where he's a lovable loser, but people still love him because he can work, because he has that stamina, because he can go 30 to 45 minutes in a match and still have that match be believable and not sucking ass, and not getting blown up. That's why I compared him to Dusty.
I'll agree with that comparison, but also what you have to remember is he going to be able to do that on a global scale? I mean, okay, he's packing them over in Scotland, but in, I don't know, Omaha, Nebraska, is anyone going to care? That's the point, and TNA is in such dire straits that more than likely, they're banking on their European audience more than they are their American audience, because they're drawing more people over there. TNA house shows in America are drawing like 500 people. It's just like an indie show, so it's better. The crowds they're drawing in Europe and Scotland and places like that, that's what they need to boost their financial end. So hopefully, maybe this kid can help them out. Like, I've never seen him. I don't know who he is. He could walk up to me right now and give me a hug and a kiss, and I wouldn't know who he was. So I'm going to have to take note of him and, watch some of the stuff, and form my opinion there. But I'm just going on what I know is from years gone by, and as a kid growing up, watching Dusty Rhodes. And I don't think anyone can deny the promo he cut about hard times is probably the greatest wrestling promo ever cut. It's incredible.
Now, Axel, you got bitten by the bug pretty early in life. When did you know, I guess, in your heart that this is what you wanted to do and made the decision that professional wrestling is the career choice for you? When did that happen for you?
Oh, gosh, 5, 6 years old. I was sitting watching WWF wrestling with my grandfather, and again, it goes back to Dusty Rhodes and Billy Graham. They were involved in a feud, and they both come out and were doing the promos, and I was mesmerized by how just hearing them talk made me want to see the match, and the line that got me for the thing, and I still remember to this day, was when superstar Billy Graham said, he's like, get in Madison Square Garden, Dusty Rhodes, you're going to find out that what all the ladies know, what you see is what you get, and what you don't see, baby, is better yet, and I'm bringing it to you in the garden. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. I said to my call him Pappy, I said, Pappy, that's what I want to do. I want to go out there and I want to talk, and I want people to cheer and boo me and do that. And I just knew at a young age it was something that I wanted to do, and luckily, I got started doing it when I was like 16 years old.
How did you get involved? I mean, did you hook up with somebody in particular, or
a group of guys. There was a rundown boxing gym, and I heard that like at nighttime when they were done training boxing, guys went there and used the ring to wrestle, and so I took the bus because I was 15 at the time. I wasn't old enough to drive, and there was a guy there named Jim Leon he was murdered. But the name that you'll probably remember is Jumpin' Joey Maggs, who worked for WCW.
Yep.
Yeah, Joey and Jim and another guy by the name of Dave Coleman, who used to wrestle as the Surgeon, was, the guys that got me involved really, started, and they did it the right way. They beat the hell out of me for like 2 weeks, solid before they even, let me actually get in the ring and learn anything that had to do with wrestling, which is such heat that I have with the business now. All you have to do is shave all the hair off your body and, put on a little pair of underwear and look like a metrosexual underwear model. And the next thing you know, you have a job, working for Vince McMahon. So, and the whole, even though Chris Jericho is a great friend of mine, and I don't, that's great that he has a gig on Tough Enough, but it's just not my thing. I don't think that's the way, guys need to be brought into the business the way that they used to be. They need to be brought in, and really kind of like beat into the business, and the slackers and the guys that couldn't handle it need to be weeded out.